We got a new tripod, so our angle's like different.
We're trying to make it match as best we can to the old one.
It's just your torso looks super short. Like, you look at my waist is almost where your waist is.
Yeah, I have a short torso. You knew this when you said yes to me.
No, but the thing is, you don't really. It's just the angle.
So if I lean back, does that make it look longer?
It's okay. Hi guys, I'm Anna.
And I'm Brian.
And we are
Those Annoying Vegans! And today we are fulfilling a viewer request for a recipe involving plantains. But we're not just going to give you one recipe, we're going to give you two. We're going to go salty and spicy on the one side and sweet on the other.
Now, you guys might already know the salty and spicy recipe as tostones or patacones, which are traditionally fried in tons of oil. So we're going to change things up a bit. The sweet recipe, I don't know that it has a name, but the recipe's been in my family for several years and it's delicious. Of course, it originally involves honey and cheese, which we know comes from a pregnant bovine mammal, so of course we're going to veganize it and use chow cheese and agave instead.
And as always, this recipe is delicious, affordable, and easy to make.
So let's make it!
Let's make it! Oh, look at this.
Oh my gosh.
Plantain chips.
And plantain boats of deliciousness. I don't know what to call them.
I like boats of deliciousness.
These are so good. That's a great thing about plantains. You can eat them both sweet and salty, and they taste just as delicious. And get this, 56% vitamin C in a plantain, 40% vitamin A, 25% vitamin B6. They're chock full of potassium and a bunch of magnesium as well.
They look deceptively like bananas, but they're not bananas.
Except some countries actually call them bananas, not plátanos. We call them plátanos in Costa Rica.
Super confusing for the American tourist.
These are good. Be checking them in the oven. I don't know what your altitude is, but we baked them at 400 degrees, and I think that was just about perfect where we live. Just make sure they're not burning. These are great for breakfast. These are great for a party, and use your favorite spices. You don't have to use our spices.
You do what you want.
Today, we wanted to talk about relationships.
Because it's a family recipe, and in a family, you have close relationships. And some people are in close relationships and are vegan with a person who is not vegan. And so that's how we're going to tie in the recipe to the talking points. We're going to steer that bus. We got it over there. All right, now we're back on track here. That was a nice segue.
That was very not forced at all. So we know a few people who are vegan who are in a relationship with someone who is not vegan. We've also heard from many of you who are in similar relationships who have asked us, how do I approach veganism with my partner? They don't understand. They don't want to try it with me.
And that can make it a little more difficult for you because it's really easy to go vegan when you have a partner that's doing it with you. Even if it's just a friend or a family member, if it's a brother or sister, or your significant other, having another person there on the journey with you does make it easy. And so when the other person is staunchly not on the journey with you, it can be a little frustrating.
And it can bring you down.
Now, admittedly, neither of us have been in a relationship with someone who isn't vegan when we were vegan because we went vegan together and now we're going to be together forever. So we've never been in your shoes, but we put together 4 ways that we think you could approach veganism to your non-vegan partner.
Number 1, make sure you stress to your partner how important this is to you. There are ethics components, there are health components, there are environmental components, which are all very, very, very important. But the one thing that you and your partner have in common is that you care about each other. This is a way in. It might be difficult to get them to care about the animals or their health or the environment, but there is one thing they already do care about, and that's you.
And those other conversations will come, and caring about those topics will happen down the road. I can tell you, as someone who went vegan for love of a beautiful brown-eyed brunette named Anna, I'll be honest, I really loved buffalo wings, I really loved steak, I really loved pizza, and still giving up those foods for the person that you love, that didn't seem like a big deal to me. Okay, so now you're gonna eat vegan chicken wings instead of regular chicken wings. Like, whatever. Like, what does that matter? Okay, now you're gonna have vegan pizza instead of pizza with breast milk on it. Okay. It opens up something inside of you, especially as a guy. Like, guys, we're typically closed off emotionally. We don't like to say that we think puppies and kittens are cute, even though we do. We do just as much as the ladies do. But once you start that journey down the veganism road, you start to see things differently. You start to see those caged chickens on a truck differently. You see the pigs in the slaughterhouse differently. You see the baby chicks that get crowned up because people want to eat eggs differently. You start just seeing the world differently, and then all of a sudden you care about different things. First and foremost, if your partner cares about you, you need to let them know that this is an issue that's important to you.
And often vice versa. Like, if I were in the position of, my partner is vegan and I'm not, I feel like a good way for guys to sort of get in there is to show that compassion and that empathy. That's a huge turn on. I don't know if there are any females out there who aren't turned on by compassion and empathy. Sensitivity and an awareness is always a good way to approach things, I feel, with women. I'll say with some women, because maybe, I don't know. I'm speaking from personal, intuitive me.
And I would say from a guy's perspective, men, we like to please. So if the lady likes something, we go get it. Bring it to you. Or you want to go somewhere to eat, we take you there and we get you a meal. Ha, I provide. Look at me, I'm a male providing. So if you just tell them, this is something that's really important to me, this means a lot to me, then I can't see why a partner wouldn't want to embrace it and want to make it a part of their life, because it is a big part of yours.
And on that note, number 2, what are you doing to show your partner that you support their interests outside of veganism? That's really important too, because it's mutual. It goes both ways. Maybe you're not that into sports, or you're not that into action movies, or you're not that into hiking, whatever it may be that your partner is interested in, that you usually go like, no, babe, you go, I'm not that into it. You can maybe show some initiative there. And instead of waiting for them to ask you to go to the new Marvel Comics movie, buy opening night tickets. Be like, babe, I got us tickets to the new Marvel movie. I know how much you like it, and I really want to learn more about it. You never know, you might actually enjoy it. I know I did. I'm super into Marvel now. I had no idea what that world was like before I met Brian.
And on the flip side, if you're not all that into rom-coms or musicals,
maybe Pitch Perfect 3 came out and your partner's super excited about it, and you're like, or maybe they're into guitars, or, I don't know, collecting Beanie Babies. Who the heck knows? The point is, make an effort. Ask them questions about their interests. Show that you care in that way. I read a study once that said that The most successful relationships are the ones where mutual interests are shared.
Yeah, because a lot of people view veganism as this massive life change. Even though if you're already vegan, you know that it's not that big of a deal. But remember back to when you weren't vegan yet, and remember all the things that you thought you were going to have to cut out of your life. Oh my goodness, it's this massive change. Embracing the passions and the interests that your partner has outside of veganism makes it less of a big shift in their life. Their whole world is not changing. You're actually being very loving, you're being very supportive, you're being very interested in what they like, and this is just one thing that you're passionate about that you would like the both of you to do together.
It opens the door for them to be like, you know what? Oh, she's been showing a lot of interest in my stuff. I should probably, reciprocate.
And speaking of that massive yet not so massive life change, number 3 is show your partner that they can still have all the flavors and all the textures and all the foods that they used to eat before. You can still have a vegan version. You don't necessarily have to focus on the health aspect right away. If your partner loves buffalo wings, for example, then maybe take them to Veggie Grill.
That's what I did.
And get the vegan buffalo wings. Because you took me there,
yeah.
And I was genuinely very impressed with those buffalo wings. They tasted exactly like boneless, dead chicken flesh, just not made of chicken flesh.
And once your partner makes that connection, then you can throw a tidbit or two about, see, it tastes just the same, so why does the chicken need to die? Throw a tidbit about protein if that's what they're into. You know your partner best.
You can go to the store and you can get the Beyond Burger and you can grill up some burgers at home, or you can go to a restaurant and get a black bean burger. It doesn't have to be this massive, like, oh, now all I get to eat is salad and tofu. For anyone who's been vegan for any reasonable period of time, you know it's not that.
Yeah.
So show your partner that they can still have all that food.
And number 4, encourage every step, no matter how small. That means that if they want to try meatless Mondays, that's great. That's fantastic.
And that means that if your partner is eating a meatless pasta, for example, and they still sprinkle the Parmesan cheese on there, don't freak out and have a vegan moment of like, really? You're gonna put cheese on it? It's okay, because that step shows the person, oh, I can have a hearty pasta without meatballs. Okay, good.
One step at a time. Maybe next week you get a really good vegan cheese alternative. And you just put it in the fridge. Be like, oh, babe, I got this, just in case you want to try it. That's one of the first things that they taught us when I was training to be a wilderness trip leader. A few years back, I was working with 15 to 16-year-old girls one summer, taking them into the backcountry of Montana and Wyoming for 5 days, hiking 6 to 9 miles every day. It can get pretty tough. And the last thing you want to do is, come on, you can do better than that. Positive reinforcement really fills you up. It makes you feel good, and it makes you want to do more.
The more you encourage those little things, and the more you show here and there that it's really important to you, and the more you just sort of ease the person into it. Not, oh, I watched Earth Things last night, and now everything's going to change. For some people, it does. And for other people, it's really, really slow process.
And it can feel overwhelming at first. Like, we've had people literally message us like, what do I do? How do I start? And although those things might seem easy to us, that just comes to show how ingrained this all is in our lives. Always be willing to talk to your partner. And if you're on the receiving end, if you're not vegan and your partner is vegan, give it a shot. What is there to lose? There are only good things to gain from this. Making your partner happy, strengthening your relationship, and of course, saving lots of animals and helping your health and the environment and all those things. Yeah, what's so wrong with that? Let your ego go.
And so we hope that helps you guys. We know we've gotten a lot of questions in that area, so we wanted to make a video to share those thoughts with you guys.
Yeah.
And now, for some vegan news!
Vegan news! First off, Domino's in Australia is going to keep vegan cheese on the menu because it was so successful.
Oh, wow. So a business tried something, and then a lot of people bought it, and now they're going to keep it on their list of things you can buy permanently. That's so weird.
Sounds like supply and demand to me.
And along those lines, Ben & Jerry's just released 2 brand new vegan ice cream flavors, because vegan ice cream is amazing, and it's tasty. It's by no means a health food, but you don't need to kill a baby calf to have delicious ice cream. A lot of people are buying the non-dairy ice cream So they're going to come out with more flavors of non-dairy ice cream. That's how stores work.
Speaking of stores and speaking of supply and demand, 600 Tesco stores in the UK are going to introduce 20 new vegan products. This is as a result of the 360% rise in the demand for vegan products in the UK over the last 10 years. Tesco reported that there was a 25% rise in the demand for chilled vegetarian ready meals and meat substitutes in the last year alone.
This veganism thing is picking up some steam.
This is where you come in. Your stores, your local stores. Take that opportunity at the cash register when they ask you, did you find everything you needed? Be like, no, you know, it would really, really be nice to find some vegan cheese here because I have to go to this other store to get it and it's just really inconvenient. I'm thinking I might just switch over. Or write to them. We wrote to our local Trader Joe's several months ago and 4 months later they were carrying Miyoko's butter. It works. If you'd like, we can email you the letter we wrote and you can edit it.
And lastly, Norway's government plans to phase out fur farms by 2025. Particularly fox and mink, because fur is decidedly out of the fashion, my dear. Out of the fashion.
I saw a lady wearing a fur at that screening we went to.
Yeah.
It was so out of place. It was so out of place. It's so gross.
This decidedly upset the fur farmers, if you can farm fur. I think by farm fur you mean raise an animal and then tear its skin off. Yeah. Here's a quote from Guri Wormdahl of the Norwegian Fur Breeders Association. We're shocked, shaken to the core. She said that there are about 200 fur farms in Norway employing about 400 people under strict rules for animal welfare.
Where's the logic in that?
So once again, it is you guys that are making the difference because you are not buying fur and thus reducing the demand for fur. That's the same thing as like grass-fed beef.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, the cow lived an amazing life.
Which it had a right to anyway without your frickin' input. Sorry. See, I get angry too, guys. So guys, again, thank you so much for watching. And if you liked what you saw, please give us a thumbs up, or a thumbs down is cool too. Leave a comment, leave a question, leave a concern. And as always, if you haven't already, subscribe!
And make sure to hit that notification bell so that you will be notified when we put out a new video.
And check out our Etsy store. We have some shirts left, new designs coming soon. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you make one of our dishes, tag us. We love that. We will follow you back too.
And a massive thank you to our patrons on Patreon. And if you guys like what we do and you'd love to support the channel, you can become a patron on Patreon as well. The link is in the description. Bye.
Might already know the salty and spicy recipe as tostones or patacones. No, Daddy.
My kitten, we don't need to eat the pineapple. Aria.
My love, what are you doing?
I love you with all my heart.
Come here.
All of it. But let's stay out of the sink, okay? We went vegan together. Oh! Gesturing, I'm telling you, the gesturing.